Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine, and today I want to share with you the Moving Beyond the Page curriculum for ages 8 to 10. This would be about 4th to 5th grade. This is a complete curriculum that is literature based. It comes with everything you need for an entire year. The only thing that it does not come with is a math curriculum. The website suggests using Right Start Math, which is available for sale on their website. And more information and details are in the description box below. So I want to share with you the curriculum for ages 8 to 10. Now, I want to say that I have borrowed this curriculum from a friend who purchased the full year for ages 11 to 13 as well as 8 to 10. You can see the price here. This was purchased a couple years ago. I'm not sure what the updated prices are, but you can see that it comes with a lot of material, both as curriculum, as literature, and as manipulative. So I'm going to try to show you the materials that I have here and explain how it is used. The only thing is I do not have all of the materials, but I am linking a video down below that will take you directly to the website so that you can see everything that comes with the particular grade that you're looking for in case there are updates, as well as a video that explains and kind of gives you an overview of the curriculum. Now, it comes with a variety of literature that is going to accompany this curriculum. I'm not going to show you everything, but just so that you know, this is only a fraction of the literature that comes with it. But it comes with literature that's going to accompany all these different units for the curriculum. Now, it comes with a ton of these workbooks. Let me just show you all of these really quickly. I am going to go in depth with each of them, or, an overview of them. And it also comes with your science kit. I've got one of them here, and I have another partial one here. I want to show you really quickly. It is really nicely packaged and organized. Here it says Unit 1, Lesson 1, Activity 2, and it comes with all the materials you need in this nice little bag. I love things that are packaged in a way that's going to make it easy for you to use. But I do not have all of it available right now. Like I said, this was borrowed from a friend. But I have some information about this curriculum based on my friend's use of it. And I know two families who have used this curriculum are actually not used this curriculum. So I want to share their experiences as well. Then for the science kit, this one is for Concept 4, and I'm going to explain that, but basically there are 4 concepts that cover the entire year. So you have different workbooks and literature that accompany each of these different concepts. And here's just a look at the materials that come with this particular science kit. Like I said, it's really nicely organized, very nicely labeled. It's really great so that you've got everything you need. Now, chances are you probably have some of these things in your home already, but what I absolutely love is that they have taken the time to assemble everything that you're going to need so that you don't have to go throughout your house looking for these things or make excessive trips to the dollar store or Target to find these materials. It's all included, and I really appreciate when a curriculum thinks ahead on how you are going to be using it and provides all the materials that you need. This is really great for somebody who doesn't either like to do the hands-on projects or doesn't know how to get started with them. When they're all included, I think it just makes it that much easier to actually do them. All right, so let me pull out the curriculum here to explain kind of how it works. So you've got this is literature based, but it's also kind of worksheet heavy, even though it comes with amazing books and literature to complement the curriculum. The majority of the work is going to be done in these workbooks. Now, there are 4 concepts, and each concept has 3 units, and within each unit you have about 10 or so lessons ending with a final project. So when you're first looking at that, it can be a little bit confusing, but I think once you start to work through it, it's going to make a lot more sense. So that's kind of the breakdown of the year. You can see you have got 4 full concepts. They're divided up into these different units, and then you have these different lessons within the units. Something that the curriculum makes a note of is how long you should be spending on each of these different subject areas. And while they estimate that the school day would take approximately 3 hours, this doesn't take into account having multiple students or multiple grades, just more children than one in your homeschool, as well as interruptions, snack time, break time, meal time. So I anticipate that if you were to do this curriculum, it would take more than 3 hours, and you would have to be pretty prepared. Even though it comes with everything, you'd have to be pretty prepared if you really want to get it in that amount of time. And the other thing is that it does not come with a math curriculum, which means you are free to choose any math curriculum that you want to use. However, they do suggest Right Start Math that is available on their website as well. But I have to say that of all the different curricula that I've seen, I want to say this is a fairly pricey curriculum for 8 to 10-year-olds. So this would be fourth grade to 5th grade. You're looking at nearly $800. The shipping, I think, is free when you purchase the whole year. And then you're also looking at anywhere from a couple to several $100s more for your math curriculum. So I call this a pricey curriculum. However, it comes with everything you need, so you don't have to worry about buying anything else to complement this curriculum. The other resources that they recommend that you get are either books or you can use the internet. There's very little else that you actually need to get. All right, so let's go through this first book as an overview of what you can expect with the curriculum. Now, I also want to say that my friend whom I borrowed this curriculum from, her children did not finish this curriculum. Now, on occasion, there will be pages that are missing or pages that are written on because they did begin this, but neither her 4th, 5th grader or 6th, 7th grader at the time, neither of them finished this curriculum. In fact, I think it only lasted maybe a couple of weeks to about a month at most. Now, I want to give you my opinion as well as her thoughts on why that didn't work. And then maybe you can decide for yourself whether this kind of format would work for you, or maybe the concept is really good, but it still is not going to work for you. Because when she explained it to me, I was absolutely fascinated by the whole idea of this integrated curriculum where all the subjects, except for math, are integrated together, where your language arts curriculum directly corresponds with your science and with your social studies. And so the literature books that you're reading are going to complement your science and vice versa. I really like the way that works together. And also, it comes with all the worksheets that you're going to need in these workbooks, which makes it really easy for you to do the work. However, what my friend found was that it was boring and tedious. All right, so the first thing I want to show you is the beginning of Unit 1. This is Concept 1, Unit 1, and this is Little House in the Big Woods. And so the first thing is that it actually comes with the book that you're going to need. Then it also tells you, so it tells you the reading required books, which it comes with the curriculum, and then it gives you a materials list. So you've got like some common materials that you probably already have in your home, but it's just going to list them out here so that you are prepared with this unit for the things that you need. And then it goes with each lesson, all the different things that you're going to need. Now, lesson 2, 3, and 4 are skipped here because it's probably just contained within the workbook, all the way down to your final project. Moving on, you also have your vocabulary list here. And you're supposed to review your vocabulary daily to achieve mastery. And then you have, which I think is fabulous here, this is a unit review sheet. And so this is going to go through and it kind of gives you what the goal of the entire unit is and what the goal of each individual lesson is. So this is really great because if you do the lesson, you're like, I'm not sure what the whole point was, you can see that this was the review. This is what you wanted your child to learn or achieve within that particular lesson. It goes through all the different lessons for this particular unit. This is included in all of the books, all the workbooks. All right, so then you've got lesson 1, introducing the story. So it starts out with your big ideas, your facts and definitions, the skills, and the materials. Now, as you go through this, For me, at least, it seemed like it was a lot of material, a lot of stuff to cover. And it started to feel a little bit overwhelming, but I think once you actually start to work through it, there is a little bit of like a getting used to phase with any curriculum. And I think it does work itself out and become easier if you really want to stick to it. The two families that I know who their children, and also I don't think it suited the parents as much. The complaints that they had were that they said boring, and I understand that certain aspects of the curriculum are boring, but I really love the concept. So I would try to find ways around the parts that are boring so that we could get through the curriculum, since I like the whole concept of it being integrated. And also that it got a little bit tedious. And the fact that there's so many manipulatives with the program, for me, that would really excite me and I would really like that. But for my one other family, not the one that I borrowed this curriculum from, but another friend, she had two really small children plus a kindergartner and then like a 7th grader, and she bought the 7th grade package and the kindergarten package, and the kindergarten package came with all these, like an enormous box of like projects, and they were all individually packaged, and that totally overwhelmed her, whereas that totally excited me. So each person is different, each family is different, your kids are going to respond to this curriculum differently, and that's why hopefully giving you this kind of overview will help you decide whether this is the right curriculum for you or not. And while I'm talking about it, I am not using this curriculum. We have not used it, and we do not have any intentions to use it in the future. I'm simply borrowing it from a friend so that I can show you. And I have gone through this curriculum. I've reviewed it so that I can try to give you my best and most honest feedback about it. All right, so when you begin the lessons, it's going to go through the different activities that are in the pages of this workbook. Now they come with, there are multiple lessons, and within each lesson there are multiple activities, and within the activities there are times when you have a worksheet that will give you two different options. So if one option doesn't work well for your child, you can certainly do the other option. All right, so let's move on to the activities. Now, each lesson in general takes 1 day unless otherwise noted. So let me show you that really quickly. So for this particular workbook, all of the lessons are supposed to take about 1 day, with the final project taking 2 days. In some of the other units, you're going to have lessons that take 2 days. And with each lesson, you generally have more than one activity, and the activity is generally something that you can do within the workbook as a worksheet. Now, I don't have activity 1 to show you, but here is activity 2. You can see that it is worksheet based, and it's based on the book Little House in the Big Woods. You also have activity 3, and then you move on to lesson 2. Again, with lesson 2, as with lesson 1, it is going to give you an overview of the different activities. It also gives you some questions based on the reading that you can ask your child, as well as some answers. Sometimes it varies, sometimes they'll give you the answer. So that's kind of nice. In case you don't have time to come up with your own questions, this is a nice way to do it. And if you do not want to do it question-based, you can always do it as an oral narration. All right, so for this particular lesson, you have 3 activities, with the third activity being with, it has 2 different options provided for the third activity, depending on what your child wants to do. So let me skip ahead here. You have activity 1. This is page 2 for activity 1. This is activity 2, page 1, and activity 2, page 2. Then you have activity 3, option 1, and activity 3, option 2. All right, so with the different options, in general, the pages look pretty similar. Sometimes they'll be exactly the same, but you will have different options on how to do this particular activity. And in order to figure out how to do them, depending on whether it is option 1 or option 2, you go back to the beginning of the lesson, and it's going to explain to you how you can do option 1 or option 2. And then it, of course, provides the worksheet for you. So I'm going to just scroll through this a little bit and show you the different worksheets that come in this book. It is quite thick, I think, as a workbook, but also with every lesson, you have this introduction that takes 1 to 2 pages to explain what the lesson is about, to explain the different activities. Of course, it has also the reading questions and the answers. And then it goes into the different worksheets for that particular lesson. What I found, and this is a little bit from my friend's opinion, who this curriculum is coming from, is that while it was really nice to have these different options available so that your child could choose the activity that he or she wanted to do, I think that she felt that there were it was too much worksheet based, and it just kind of exhausted her kids. It wasn't as inspiring and as interesting as I think everyone hoped in the family when they purchased this curriculum. I think it was really exciting to have a curriculum that had everything included, but when it got down to actually working through it, you can see that almost all of the pages are blank. They didn't go through it very far before they realized that it just wasn't the right match for their family. There is quite a bit of writing within the worksheet, and if your child is not quite ready for that amount of writing, I know that could be difficult with some children, then this probably wouldn't be the right curriculum for you. Now, this is for ages 8 to 10, and it recommends that before you do this curriculum that your child is able to read at a 4th, 5th grade level, and that he can write a paragraph easily. You don't want your child struggling through the content or the other material. Otherwise, that's also going to cause your child to find the work tedious and difficult and maybe boring even. All right, so with concept 1, Unit 1, I'm going to show you what's here, but I'm also going to show you all the different workbooks that come in the curriculum. It's divided up, and I'm sorry that you're seeing 2 different grade levels here, but it's going to show you all the curriculum that comes within this age group as the concept 1, and then all the way down to concept 2 and 3, and then it has all the different names for the different workbooks. You can see that they are categorized as literature units, science units, or social study units. Then you have, for, again, the same age group, 8 to 10, you have all the literature. So previously this was called curriculum. Now you can see that it's literature, and it shows you all the different books that will come in this curriculum. Again, I don't have all of them here to show you. And then the last thing that you're going to see are all the manipulatives. And then it again shows you the grade level, and then it shows you the different concepts. Now, when you move into the older grades, you're going to have semester 1, semester 2, but here it's divided up into 4 different concepts. It also comes with a timeline of ancient civilizations, and I'm going to pull that out for you in just a minute. All right, so you have Little House in the Big Woods, you have Dirt and Plants, you have Native American Indians, The Sign of the Beaver, and Ecosystems and Ecology, Native American Animal Stories. Okay, so that's all for concept 1, but you've got these 2 for unit 3, and these 2 for unit 2, and then these 2 for unit 1. And what you can see is that each of the units, unit 1, 2, and 3, come with a language arts book. And then for unit 1, you have science. And for unit 2, you have social studies. Of course, it still comes with your language arts curriculum. And then for unit 3, you have science and language arts. And the language arts is going to complement the science and vice versa, but you can do this program just as a language arts program independent of the science and the social studies. So I'm going to really quickly scroll through these different workbooks so that you can get an idea of the worksheets that are provided. They are all single-sided worksheets. The back side is blank, and there again you'll have the lesson overview prior to the different activities, and each lesson is going to come with multiple activities. Again, it's going to tell you all the materials that you need, as well as the book that you need to use for this particular unit. So that's listed right up front along with the materials list, which I think is fantastic. And then the other thing I want to show you, which is the same as the other book, and that is the whole list of lessons. And you can see for this particular unit that most of the lessons last for 2 days. When it's not in parentheses saying 2 days, then it's just 1 day. All right. Then you have another language arts workbook and some more worksheets in here. It is worksheet heavy. It is literature based. And here's the social studies workbook. Again, a lot of worksheets. And it does have your hands-on projects in the form of your science manipulatives that I showed you earlier. And then this one's a little bit smaller. It's ecosystems and ecology. And again, you're going to have the books that coordinate with these different units. They are included, I do not have all of them, but they are included in the curriculum, and you can certainly supplement the curriculum with books from the library. All right, then you have your Native American animal stories, and that is what the workbook looks like. All right, so that was concept 1, has 6 different books, if I'm not mistaken, and each unit is going to have a language arts workbook. So on to concept 2. For unit 1, you have science and language arts. For unit 2, you have science, social studies, and language arts. And for unit 3, you have science and language arts. So again, the workbooks are pretty similar once you get into the rhythm of doing it, and once you kind of understand the whole concept behind the curriculum and how to use the workbooks. I think that it will become a lot easier to use. It's not so complicated. I think the problem that you may encounter is number 1, boredom, and number 2, tedium. So I've got a couple ideas on how to overcome that, but first I'm going to show you really quickly. Concept 3, Unit 1 has language arts and social studies. And Unit 2, I must be missing the other book. This one is the language arts one, and Unit 3 is language arts and social studies. It's possible that Unit 2 only had the language arts. This one's quite thick, but I would have to look at the materials list and the invoice to see what other things came with it. Now, what you could do, and really, personally, we don't use a lot of worksheets in our homeschool. So when we do use worksheets, it is really exciting for my kids. It is a novelty, and they totally dive into it, and they really enjoy it. But it is a novelty, and they only enjoy it for a really limited amount of time, especially if the worksheet is quite repetitive. The only exception that we push through with is math worksheets for our mastery and proficiency skills, and just math in general. It's really hard to get away from worksheets. You can certainly supplement with a lot of other things, but a lot of that practice is just going to have to be done in a form of a worksheet, as well as just your writing mechanics. That also has to just be done. But the other things that you could use worksheets for, if your children started to find them tedious, then what I would do personally is rotate how often we do the worksheets. So in our family, worksheets would be super fun for about 2 weeks straight, maybe 3 weeks, and a month would totally be pushing it. So you might consider doing this curriculum completely the way it's designed for a period of time with all of the worksheets till your children find it tedious. Now, for our family, that could be anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. For my friend who used this, I think it only was about a week. And for other people, you may find you can go 3 months before it becomes really tedious. At that point, I would put it away, the worksheet part, and focus on the literature and change what you are expecting your child to produce as they're learning. So instead of having it as a worksheet, my go-to for what my children produce as learning material are one of 3 things: either an oral narration, a written narration, or some kind of drawing or activity that complement the lesson. Now, we may do multiple things for one particular lesson. Sometimes it's simply a matter of delivering the lesson and my kids aren't going to do anything. So there's quite a range in our family as far as what my children are going to produce for our lessons. Now, we follow a Waldorf curriculum. It's very different than this. It's a unit study approach, which this curriculum has that essence in it, have been somewhat of a unit study approach because the different subjects are kind of integrated together. But because it is more worksheet based, I know that my kids would not be able to last with this curriculum long term. So what you might end up doing is scanning some of the lessons and the activities and seeing what the goal of that particular lesson is, and then finding an activity that would suit your children, especially if they're just feeling kind of burnt out with the lessons that are provided. Now, what's really great is that at the beginning of each workbook, you are going to find this page that overviews. It's a unit review sheet. And this is going to tell you what the purpose of each of these lessons, which is great because then you could change up how you are going to require your children to show you work in that particular area. So if you need to know that Africa is a large continent, then maybe doing something that's game-based, like a board game or an interactive map, like a large wall map, might be enough to get that point across without doing the worksheets that are provided. All right, so let's look at the last concept, which is concept number 4. And you are looking at language, arts, and science for Unit 1. For Unit 2, you have language, arts, and social studies. And for Unit 3, you have language, arts, and science. And again, you have all of your manipulatives and science projects that go along with this particular unit. With all the units, you have all of those materials available, which is really fantastic. Again, it makes it so much easier to actually accomplish some of the science projects. There are very few curricula, in my opinion, that come with this much detail, and I really appreciate the thought that has gone into this curriculum so that you don't have to worry about looking for anything else. You have your science kits already included in here. You have clear directions on how to use everything, and of course it's clearly marked so that you know what unit and what lesson these materials are going to go with, which I think makes it so much easier for a family that maybe cannot be as interactive with their student or cannot be as hands-on with their student. This is going to work really well. I want to show you really quickly the binder that comes with the timeline. It comes with these cards that you can cut out and then you add to your timeline. You can see that it was started by the student who this curriculum belonged to, but it was not completed. But this is also other material that comes with the curriculum. So if you've used this curriculum before, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. You can leave your comments in the section below. Don't forget that you can find more information about this curriculum in the description box below. It'll take you to the website as well as links to the videos that they have on their website that has a more comprehensive overview of the curriculum.